The Taliban are putting their new government in place, including key posts for 4 Gitmo detainees released by President Obama. All of that's part of the prisoner swap for Army deserter Bo Bergdahl that happened during the Obama administration. One of these bad guys, who's now the Interior Minister, heads the Haqqani terror network and has a $10 million FBI bounty on his head. He's also believed to be holding an American hostage. President Biden recently had this to say about Afghanistan's new rulers.
Let me put it this way. I think they're going through sort of an existential crisis about, do they want to be recognized by the international community as being a legitimate government? I'm not sure they do.
Wow, it's amazing, Vivek. Starting with you, we have reporting, or at least the 2 Defense Department officials reported to, I believe it was Politico, saying that General McKenzie was calling the Taliban our Afghan partners. Are these our Afghan partners? We now know 4 terrorists exchanged in the Bergdahl deal, the $10 million FBI most wanted bounty. These are our partners, we're to believe?
Well, I actually think it's one step worse than that. I think the Taliban is trolling us. I think they are testing us by putting former prisoners in the highest ranks of their government. Now, the Taliban says, and many in the U.S. say, they're not a recognized terrorist network. OK, fine. But the Haqqani network definitely is. And by putting the head of the Haqqani network in one of the highest positions in your cabinet, the interim secretary or Minister of Interior, that is assigned to the United States to see how will we respond when we are tested. The Taliban is watching. Every one of our foreign adversaries is watching. I guarantee you, China is watching. And the problem with the Biden administration is that when they are tested, they capitulate rather than pushing back. And I think that's actually the most dangerous signal of all. Whoever filled it, even if it wasn't one of the prisoners who came in, it could have been another terrorist. But here they chose to make a statement to say that these are the people you imprisoned, United States, and we're going to put them in the top ranks of our government. Let's see what you do. Right now, the Biden administration is sitting, and I worry about the signal that sends not just to the Taliban, but to all of our foreign adversaries abroad.
Undoubtedly. And Harris, the State Department response, I just laughed when I read it. It's read in part, they are concerned by the affiliations and track records of some of these individuals. That's the understatement of a century.
But they're willing to take the Taliban's word for it when they say that they're not impeding our way back to places where we can be picked up as Americans in Afghanistan, and that nobody's really trying to get out of there right now. They're willing to listen to the Taliban at the same time. You know, Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa said something that I heard 4-star General Jack Keane to say today, and they're from 2 different areas of expertise, obviously, although she is a military veteran. And that is that the State Department is in poor mode right now in terms of its crisis handling. It isn't able to do it. Senator Ernst said, well, do they need more people? What do we need? It's a mess. And General Jack Keane saying, no, they're part of the problem now. Like, it's one thing to be in disarray and chaos. It's another thing to block Americans from coming home. You don't think the enemy sees that the arm of our government that's supposed to be dealing with it is defunct?
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the back.
Right.
Like, how much will Rome burn?
Yeah.
At this point. And it is a stick in our eye for them to put the worst among us who we had jailed in charge of their government. I agree with Vivek. I mean, that's not an accident. That's actually strategy.
It no doubt is. And Biden, I have to laugh going back to, I think it was 2 weeks ago during that GMA interview he did, where he said the Taliban's going through an existential crisis as they try to find their place in the international community. I don't think so.
I don't think so. And what are Americans supposed to feel right now? What are we supposed to make of this? On one hand, we have our largest law enforcement agency that has said this guy is one of the 10 most wanted criminals in the entire planet. And yet we have the Biden administration telling us, as you pointed out, to take a but wait and see approach. So this guy is in charge of all of law enforcement of Afghanistan's largest city, and we are supposed to wait and see. And though actually what we should be more horrified about, they tell us, is the fact that this Sharia law government doesn't have any female ministers. At this point, I care about the safety of humans. That includes Americans, and that includes those Afghans on the ground. I fear for them right now. I fear for their future. And we keep coming back to the same theme, that it was all preventable.
Right. And Kennedy, actions, not words, is what the State Department says they're focused on. Well, the words of the Taliban were, we want women in government. The actions of the Taliban are, we're going to brutalize women who are protesting, not put women in government, and keep women from going to their job. Oh, yes, and go door to door and treat the women as if they are spoils of war, taking them as brides, very young girls. I think their actions have been crystal clear from day one.
Yeah, sex trafficking, murder, a very lucrative opium trade. The Taliban has not found itself in an existential crisis. They have found themselves in a great position because they are now silly with guns, ammo, tanks, MRAPs, grenades, mortars, you name it, they've got it. And they're going to sell it to make even more money. So, yeah, they're actually in a fantastic position, and I don't think they really care where they stand on the international stage. And, we talk about Haqqani having at least one American hostage. They could have 500 hostages. This could dwarf the Iranian hostage crisis by 10 times.
Yes.
So I wish this administration would be, A, more honest, and B, more forward-looking. Because the mess that they have left there, it will have reverberations for a long time, not only with voters, but with American lives. So where is the urgency? Enough of the tap dancing and the excuses. The Department of Defense has lied to us for long enough. And this administration absolutely needs to be held accountable because so far they have blown it.
Yeah, no accountability so far. Vivek, and to your point about the Taliban trolling us, I think it sends a pretty clear message when they're set to inaugurate their interim government on September 11th, the 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, they are sending a message, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's ultimately a real question about American strength. That, I think, is the real existential crisis, not the Taliban, but the existence of American strength on the global stage. That's what's at issue.
Yeah, That's exactly right.